Hi everybody, Zara from PWN. I hope you're all well today. This isn't going to be a ghost box video, but I do want to talk about annotations. I know a lot of you do not annotate your sessions, and I know that a lot of you do annotate your sessions, but what I have found recently is keeping a record of what has been said can actually be quite important. I've just started recently keeping a written record of the annotations from my videos. This is my book here, and I've actually found that instead of watching your videos back but having a written record, you can sometimes actually see a full sentence or a full story being played out. A couple of examples of actually keeping a record and looking back on it, I'm actually going to show you now. This is just my notes. I'll go into what I write in a while, but this is from the 9th of June, and it was a session that I did with the 12587, and it goes here: stop, super, stop, just stop, stop, be careful, stop, he left, self, Beelzebub, careful, Beelzebub. And it goes like this for a little while. Now this is my own personal interpretation, and I know from a few others that this is Spirit telling me to stop where I was at the time. I was actually on the field taking the dogs for a walk, and they're telling me to stop because they think that Beelzebub is around. So they're telling me to stop, and then they turn around and say that they've gone, that he, she, Beelzebub is gone. So they've actually told me to carry on. And another example of what I've got here is just from a recent one from the 21st of August, when I was in the woods of the grounds of the clinic here in Har. And they're saying, panic, help somebody, murder, he says death, Tina. Now just from that little bit, just reading back on that little bit, when I actually did the annotations on that session, I didn't actually know how much of a horrid history that the clinic in Har has. So for me, it actually seems quite relevant, because they're panicking, and they're telling me that I need to help somebody because they've been murdered, and they're saying it's death. And again, from the same session, the sun comes up, warning, this is the light on, this way Susie. And my own interpretation of this is, the sun comes up, maybe all the time we are alive, we have our own light, and maybe they're saying that my light is like the sun coming up, but they said warning because they're not so sure. And then they say, this is the light on, you know, there's this light and it's been switched on. You hear a lot about the light in spirit communication, and maybe the light that they are on about is the light within us, our own light that we radiate. And then the next bit, this way Susie, maybe that's a spirit is talking to somebody else named Susie, and they're saying that this way Susie, come this way. Yeah, and I think this is why it is important to actually keep a note of what's being said in your sessions, even if you don't annotate them, because then you can just look back and read, and you can actually see a story, a sentence. You actually see the bigger picture instead of just waiting for one annotation to come up and the next, or to try and remember what was actually said on that in particular session. And now for your books or folder or something like that, I know with Glenn, North Nottingham Paranormal, who's been in the field 30 odd years, has got approximately 65 folders just from investigations that he's done. And yeah, and it's actually something that I was talking to him about, that what I've started to do, and he's actually said yes, no, it does actually make sense. With me, this book is just purely for annotations. So what I actually keep, obviously, you know, you can list this however you wanted to, but for me, I just wanted the annotations. So it's sort of, I've just got at the front here the date, what I used, and any very, very brief notes. But then actually when we go to a session is, I'll try and come in here, like 20th of May, for example, 20th of May and what I was using. Then we have the list of annotations. And then afterwards, it's not written out yet because I've only recently just done this. And it's just the conclusion of the session. So it's my thoughts, how I feel the session went, and things like that. But what you, if you could have it as incomprehensive as you want it to be. So for example, you could have obviously the date of the session, what you were using on the session, where you were, and then you could have what question you asked, what the replies were between you asking that question and you asking the next question, and and what was said in between. And you can actually build it up this way and include, if you have in your session any EVPs, just make a note of EVP, or maybe even what was said. So you're actually building up a case study of that whole session. And if it's a place or an area that you go back to time and time again, you can, when you look back on your notes, you can actually see the case study of the whole area building up. You can actually go back and see what was said on previous sessions to correlate to see if something was picked up again. So you've always got something here. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a book. It could be something that you have on the computer or on a mobile device or something. It's just a point of reference that you can check back to from time to time and to see if there's any correlation between those sessions. I know for me personally, just in the, how long is it? A week. Say I took about 2-3 days. I went through all my videos, and the ones that were annotated, I actually put down all the annotations here. And I've also kept a separate piece of paper just with names that were called out that I just keep in the back. And just going over this, I've actually seen a correlation between some sessions, and especially with the last two that I've done being in a specific area and certain names being picked up, is a good record to have. So yeah, this is just something as how it's been for me, having a record. Some of you may already keep records. But if you don't, have a think about, you know, keeping some type of record of the sessions that you do, instead of it just being on YouTube or VidMe or wherever you have your sessions. Even if you don't upload your sessions, just having a reference to look back on from time to time can actually be really, really helpful. So that's all from me. Hope you guys all have a great day, evening, night time, whatever time you happen to be watching this video. And until the next time, as always, stay truthful, stay honest. Bye guys.